Okay, so in our Witch Wise Woman Healer, in our first class that we'll be continuing for the next couple of months, the very first thing that we're going to do is go into a meditation where we offer up some of our troubles. And then we will stand up and we will unbind ourselves. So I was just showing, I pulled this card this morning, which I think is so perfect. And one of the things that I've been thinking about a lot as I was kind of conjuring up ideas for this theme, and some of the things that the witch means there's many negative connotations as well as positive connotations. And so I want us to take the word witch as though we're taking a very precious antique off a shelf, and we're going to dust off the word. We're going to dust off the word, and we're going to see how that word fits in our own beings and enriches us. And we're going to try and get rid of some of the debris that's been placed on that word through all the terrible evil fairy tales. Like last night I was reading, well, my son, his home reading was all about the evil witch who cast this evil spell. And then of course in the reality of the burning times of, you know, women who practiced herbal medicine who were cast aside. And then, you know, even though the word witch isn't dangerous anymore, it still is kind of like, it just has all this stuff attached to it that if one of us is called a witch, it's generally not done with a pure heart. It's generally done with a little bit of like, oh, you're weird, you're different. So in our safe and sacred circle, what does it mean to really dive into isn't the right word, but to embody, to let that word move within our being as though it's a bouquet of roses. It is just the pureness, the essence of it, with the incredible scent and flourishing of the magic inherent in that word. So I am now purposefully going to mute everybody, and we will come into a position that feels comfortable for you for your meditation. You can be sitting or you can be lying down. And I would love it as well, actually, having said that, grab a notebook as well. Have that beside you, because as we do this meditation, you may actually want to kind of open your eyes and write things or not. Okay, all right. So let us start off in our comfortable position with our pen and paper ready. Imagining in front of us, perhaps in our laps, perhaps to our sides, imagining a basket. And in that basket, actually imagine first, what kind of basket is it? Is it a wicker basket? Is it a big clay bowl? It's going to be a recipient for all the things that are troubling you, for the pressures, mental, physical, emotional, for unfulfilled desires, for your worries, your troubles. And you're going to imagine those things as though they're little grits of sand or tiny pebbles that weigh you down in some way. Or perhaps a dust that smothers. And you are going to just imagine that all of those little bits of grit, pebbles, dust go into that basket. And I want you to scan your body, checking in to your head, just feeling where the tension is. And noticing if there is a thought connected to that. What's been playing in your mind like a record on repeat, like a track on repeat? What are the thoughts that are just playing over and over again? And just placing those repetitive thoughts into that basket. The neighbor that's bothering you, the food that's not cooked, not enough time, feelings of disconnection, the stop and the start of the world around us as we kind of edge into movement again, and then coronavirus comes back again, and the uncertainty, the pains in our body, the pains of others, the unknown of life, the unknown of how long we have in this life. Imagine that this basket, which is full of your troubles and your pressures, that you place this basket now at the feet of a great mother. And it may be Mother Mary, it may be a goddess, someone for you who conjures up a mother figure. A mother figure who is all loving, receiving of all that you can give her. Nothing is too much. Nothing is too much. She can take it all, and you know that you can trust completely. And you can fill that basket. And notice the space that starts to be created at your diaphragm, so here at the solar plexus, as you really feel yourself sighing with relief that you're not alone. The great mother, you give it all to her. And just sitting or lying and feeling yourself relaxing as you let go, as you offer up your troubles, placing them into your basket, which sits there at the feet or in the lap of the Divine Mother. Imagine now a Divine Father figure. Does that feel like it supports or not? Does it feel as though having both the masculine and the feminine to offer up anything that you need to offer up is useful? And if so, let there be the Divine Father and the Divine Mother offering everything up so that you can become the purest, most essential, most vibrant version of yourself, because your life energy can start to be expressed, it can start to move and flow through you because you've let go of some of the clutter. Letting go of the troubles and the pressures makes space for your own beautiful, wise being to be expressed in physical form, to be expressed in energetic form. energy and emotion interplay with our physical form. There is a beautiful weaving of our energy, our emotions, our thoughts, and our physicality. Imagine now a river moving through you, or a stream moving through you, cleansing waters moving through you, crystal clear cleansing waters. And those waters are just moving through every cell in your being, moving out toxins, moving out toxic thoughts, moving out, clearing out any other things you're holding onto subconsciously, so that those things too go into that basket. And feeling again your solar plexus area, and the spaciousness as you start to settle and let go, as you allow yourself these moments of rest so that your nervous system can come into balance. Just following your breath in and out. The feeling of the sigh of relief. Noticing how the floor beneath you, the cushions, whatever you're sitting on or lying on, the support that that gives you, and letting yourself settle comfortably. And then with loving kindness, direct your attention to anywhere in your body that feels uncomfortable. Uncomfortable emotionally or physically. Just direct kindness. Kindness sometimes is the best medicine. And now I want you to let your mind meander to an imaginary cupboard or a shelf high up. A place where this word witch, if we imagine it as an object, where it's being secreted away, hidden, and it's become dusty. It's been there so long in this hiding place. And I want you in your mind's eye to imagine reaching up and lifting it off the shelf, taking it out of the box. And perhaps you need to unwrap it. Perhaps there are layers around it of cloth that you slowly, slowly unwrap and unravel. And then imagine yourself shining the little object, and the colors start to come through. And the beauty and the richness and the mystery, of some of the unknowable that will always be present in our lives. It starts to become more obvious. You see some of the beauty, and though your mind can't exactly grasp everything that magic and mystery and the word witch means the best of it, the purest, the goodness starts to fill you, as though some of that magic rubs off on you. And so that part of you, the ancient heritage, the ancestral lineage that you come from, the wise women of the past in our heritages, some of the stories that never got passed down, some of the gifts that were buried, some of the things that were considered unacceptable in the times before us. Something bubbles up within you like a spring. And within your blood, within your DNA, like a little gate opening, a door opening, allowing in some of the magic that you've inherited. Just opening to that, accepting it, inviting it, being safe with it. And so, having placed some of our worries in that basket and offered up to the Divine Mother and the Divine Father, there is more space for you to inhabit the best of who you are, letting your energy flow. There's some space for the magic and the mystery to move through you. And then I want you, in your mind's eye, to see the basket that you'd placed so much into and see that it is only half full now. So half those things that were so important and so worrying and troubling have been lifted off you. And the things that remain, you can manage, you can deal with. They're not so great, they're not too much. That you have the energy and the capacity and the support to deal with the bits and pieces left in the basket. And then I want you to take a deep breath, slow exhale. And when you feel ready, I want you to grab your notebook and just write a little of your experience down, or even create it now. So if your mind was wandering, you still could just write a little bit down, or perhaps even draw a visual of that basket and what went into it, or what needs to go into it the next time you do this meditation. And if you want, you can also take a piece of paper like so, and just take strips. And on the strips, you can write words and you can burn them later. So you can create your own little ceremony if you want, with lots of little pieces of paper, just writing those things down so that you really can make your own little basket and set it alight, give it to the flames and offer it up later on in your day. So I invite you to do either, just to write some of the troubles, or just to write your journey, your experience, and the richness of it. And let's do that for 2 minutes. 10:41 on my clock, 10:43 we'll connect and then we'll move. Just one more minute. Okay, all right. So before we get moving, does anyone want to share any of their experiences through the meditation? There we go. Okay, Marnie.
I had to turn off the camera because I couldn't do that sitting still. I had to get up and actually put things in a basket and so on. One of the things I discovered immediately when I went to that shelf that was very fucking high up and very dusty little thing of magic, of which is how dangerous that word feels.
Yeah.
That word feels, I don't know if it's in my own life that I learned that being a powerful woman is a dangerous thing, or if it's the ancestral memory of the millions and millions of women who were burned for being witches. I don't know, but I realized that that word is fraught with danger. Never mind the reality of it. So I just want to say that in this group, I'll take it on, but I don't know that I will tell everybody.
Great.
I need a place to be safe with exploring that. And this sounds like very like, oh, whatever, but it's actually very deep in me. So it's, yeah, it's very real. And I don't know why, but it is. It's there.
I love that. I love that because this is a place where we don't need to tell anybody else. We don't need to tell anybody else what comes through, and yet there is this power and potency that I think it's really important to explore. And even the last couple of days, I've done a couple of really short Facebook lives to, you know, I'm like, oh God, Jesus, like, really, am I going to talk to the world about like witch stuff? Oh God, like, who am I becoming? And yet it's like, no, I can do that because I think there is a beauty and a wisdom and a magic that that we all need. And so kind of like, fuck it. For me, I'm comfortable just at the edge, and I really hear you, Marnie, so thank you. Sherry, how was that?
It was good. It's funny because, you know, I was raised very in the Christian church, you know, and then we were missionaries and all this stuff happened, and I basically rejected most of the tenets, you know, and I have a very close relationship with the divine, you know. I mean, I can walk with him, I can talk with him. And then like a couple months ago, I was walking and I'm like, but he's not a he, but he's not a she. So what do I call him? I even looked it up and tried to live different languages to think of a name that I could call my divine. And it's been a real journey for me, you know. And it's like you said, a lot of the people around me, you know, I don't talk a lot about it because why? You know, it's sacred to me, you know. So when you said that the Divine Mother, I just all of a sudden my mind was trying to picture some woman real woman, you know, a person that I could like relate to, connect to, but there was none. And this is like a new challenge for me. This is really, 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 really good. It's good, you know, and for them to combine. And then the other thing is when you were saying take out the basket and all that, I pictured that flow when we were scanning, trying to get into my mind, but it was so cluttered with stuff like that I fight, you know, insecurity and all that, the flow couldn't get through. That's really sad.
It's the first time there. I'm giving you new language. It's your first time meeting me. It's your first time in circle. So maybe it's actually really smart that your nervous system and mind is kind of going, wait a second. So maybe there's that as well, maybe. And you get the recording, like right away. I'll send out a link with today's Zoom recording, so you can just download it and you can come back to this meditation and see what comes through quietly a second time
That's
around.
good. That's good.
Yeah. Claire, anything you'd like to add?
So yeah, looking at the whole sort of witchy side of it, so it was very much very guided by what you were saying. Your choice of words seems to, it's like I'm sort of getting to a point and I'm thinking, then you suddenly say something and I'm like, that's where it's taking me. But then it's very clever because you sort of do the option things, and I love that because it's very precise. But it takes you off in a completely different direction. It feels a bit pinball sometimes. What I found, the whole witchy thing, it's amazing what your mind wants it to be, and then you have to really sort of let it go, which is what I found was going on with all of my thoughts. Mine was more like a sort of a long crystal, and I felt that crystal sounded a bit, it's got to be a crystal, but it was a crystal with, when I look closer, and I think that was the whole point, you look closer and you see the shadows, you see the forms, and it then almost felt more crystal ball, but it was long and quite big, but so that it could be wrapped up and then almost used like a wand. It had that sort of Harry Potterness going on. The words that came through were connection and unraveling.
That's beautiful.
So I don't know where that's going. I feel I'm very, very much on the surface of it, and I feel that it's going to take me on a journey. And I'm not sure that I've done enough work. It felt like there was a gatekeeper. There was something. You're not there yet. You're not trusting the method yet. You're not, but you're allowed a little bit in, and we're going to tease you with it. So it was very playful, but heavy. There is that heaviness around it too. Mm-hmm. So thank you. Very it's like a good book. It's like, where are we going?
Here we are. When I was doing some training with a shaman last year, every time he would have his names for the journeys we were going on to, and it was just like stepping into another chapter of Harry Potter. And I was like, God, how are there not millions of people lined up? Like, why me and one other person? We're going to visit the dark elves, for God's sake. They're amazing. So Claire, for you, as we do our movements, just see if that crystal wants to help you in the movements or come into your imagination or your hands and your mind's eye.
Lovely, thank you.
Polly, Sarah, or Michelle, would you like to share? Or we can just go into stars. Sarah, you're going to get to do this class again, version 2. Okay. Beautiful. All right, so we are going to stand up, and then so you can see I've got 2 videos of me. You might want to pin the video where you can see the boat painting in the background, just so that you can kind of see the whole of me. And I hope that my sound will be okay through this. I'm looking at my microphone, looks like it's okay. All right, let us stand. And one of the things I also suggested in the next couple of months is that, and I may have written this already in our group, maybe buy yourself a journal or a notebook where you can kind of use it as your place to write down these somewhat secret, kind of magical things. Now, let's see. I'm purposely leaning forward to see. It's a little bit glitchy. That's all right. Really, it's the sound that you need more than the image. We're going to start. I'm going to get rid of my map. We're going to start with, we will make our circle, and we're going to move as much as your body feels comfortable moving. So we're going to make a star. So take your index and your middle fingers, and you're going to just paint as though your fingers are a paintbrush. You're going to paint a 5-pointed star. And so you're going to go from your left hip up to the peak of the star, and then down to your right hip, across to your left shoulder, across to your right shoulder, and back down. So just a really simple, kind of like a little kid star. And as we do these movements, you can make tiny stars. It might feel better to make really little, beautiful, bright, sparkly, tiny stars, or big-ish stars. Or my invitation today is to make really, really big stars so that we really stretch our bodies. So a really big star would look like a big stretch, and you can actually reach the arms in both directions to get a nice twist. Coming all the way up to stretch the side of the body, all the way down. You can do this with me if you want. All the way across and across and back down. So we get this movement. In fact, let's just do this movement just to get some stretching, some movement through our rib cages and shoulders. And you're just moving your arms side to side, and you're letting your hips move. And your arms are moving kind of at the level of your shoulders, and your hands are sweeping the air. And you're feeling the temperature of the air and feeling the breeze that you're creating with your hands, and feeling the gracefulness of this movement. Let your hands become dancer-like. Your fingertips become sensitive. And then bring your hands down to your waist, and we'll go into this movement. So our hands are tapping our low backs, connecting into the back muscles and the kidneys. And through the kidneys, tapping into the water element. We've already used the water element to clean, to clear. Imagine as you do this that you are lightly being sprinkled by rain. And it's warm rain, and it's cleansing rain, and it's washing away your tiredness, your busyness. And then slowing down the movement, let's do a few hip circles, bringing our hips forwards, out to the sides, way behind us. Circle the other way. And then come back to standing with your feet about hip width apart. Now I almost take it for granted, because I've been sharing this work for a little while, these last few months, I almost take it for granted that we have this, all of us within us have this ability to feel more than we normally feel when we choose to. And so we're going to switch into that ability right now with our hands, where we're just literally becoming aware of our fingertips. And immediately what that does between our brain through to the nerves of the fingers and the blood vessels is it lights up our sensation. And it is there is a simplicity biologically where really what is happening as we wake up our hands to have some connection to what can flow into a healing ability is that as we perceive, as we feel, the blood vessels become dilated in our fingertips, and so we start to feel more. And really, this is what is at the foundation of healing hands. There is also this amazing ability that we have physically to come into kind of different neurological vibrations. So, for example, when I'm doing healing work with my hands and my mind and my nerves, my nervous system can calibrate, as can your nervous systems, can calibrate to what is needed. So trust that there is this biological capacity that, just like the healing mechanisms within us, just like our ability to breathe without needing to know how to breathe, we can perceive quite a lot more than we consider in our minds. And we know how to do that already. We don't really have to figure our way out to doing that. So we're just going to allow that expansion of knowledge to be a real thing, a biological thing. And we're going to make our circle, and we're going to basically think about the space around us. In fact, let's just slowly walk in a circle. And just look at the space that you're in. Look at the edges. Look at the plants, if there are any plants, the corners of the room. Notice what you like and maybe what you don't like. And we are going to create sacred space for ourselves and for others. And by sacred space, I mean space that is beloved, where we can bring our full presence, our being, and feel safe. Just turning your body to walk the other way, becoming more aware. Really just bringing yourself here. So some of the sacred sites in the world maybe become sacred because people bring their hearts. People bring back their love and their presence. And some of that stays. And the relationship between land, place, and our beings is a rich one. And so right now, opening up to a relationship between yourself, your heart, and the space that you're in. And then I want you to stand and face towards where the sun rises, and then make as big or as little a star as you would like with your index and your middle finger. And imagine that you are painting this beautiful star in the space around you. And this is something you can do with your kids as well, painting stars. And let's paint it a couple of times. Stretching the body. And by a couple of times, let's do it 3 times. Breathing into the stretch of your body and the beauty of your star. And then completing your star. And I want you to imagine almost like an arrow. You reach your right hand back if you're right-handed, or your left hand if you're left-handed. And then you're just going to pierce the center of your star. And like a sunbeam moves out through your fingers, you're going to take a quarter turn. Slowly, slowly walking your tiny quarter turn to the south. And there 3 times, let's draw the star, painting your star. In any way that your imagination delights you. 3 times. You can use both hands if you want. Crafting your star. And then you're going to reach one arm back and pierce the center, or even push. You can try pushing light through, energy through. And now there's a connection between 2 stars. And we take a slow, slow walk, a quarter turn to where the sun sets in the west. And take your time to make 3 stars, reaching down to 1 foot, reaching up, stretching and opening your body. Reach down. Breathing, feeling what movements your body needs. Another star, large or maybe small. And then bring your arm, your dominant arm back to push or pierce the center of your star and take a quarter turn. Pausing for a moment, imagining your stars orbiting around you. And then make your star to the north. Moving your body. The last star. And then piercing the center of it. And slowly bringing your hand back to the first star. And then almost like a spider who's woven its beautiful web. The silk connects through each star. And then with your outstretched hand, you're going to just walk very slowly, as though you're blessing and loving the space around you. And your hand, with its healing sensitivity, perhaps just with your index and middle finger or with your palm outstretched, you feel the air that your hand moves through. And it may be that you feel little ripples and disturbances, places where the energy doesn't feel as rich, or it feels richer. Noticing with all your senses, and imagining that you're just smoothing out. You're smoothing out the air around you. You're smoothing the energy, clearing, and letting the best of your being inhabit this space. Filling this space with love. And then coming back to the east. Pausing, bringing your hands to your heart. Relaxing your elbows, relaxing your shoulders. See in your mind's eye the beautiful stars around you. And then I want you to take a warrior pose. So you're going to take your left foot back, and you can have your back foot lifted, the heel lifted, or you can turn it so your foot is angled and on the ground. I'm going to slide in my socks. I'm going to take them off. So you're in a lunge position. Heel lifted, foot down, whatever feels right. And you're going to have your hands on your hips just for a moment. Find your steadiness. And if you're wobbling, just move your feet a little bit more so that they're not on a tightrope. And then I want you to bring your arms up above you. And the traditional yoga posture is warrior, and the idea of a spear between your hands. But I want you to let that idea go and turn this into a more feminine posture. So for your body and for a woman's body, what would it be that you have between your hands? Would it be the moon? Would it be a basket of flowers? Holding that posture. And then bring your hands down, slowly down like wings, and slowly up again. And just do this a few times where you let your hands rise and fall gracefully, gracefully, gracefully. Feeling the stretch through the front of the left hip. Feeling the strength and support of your body. And then stepping forwards and placing your other foot back into a position, slowly coming into your warrior position. So your right leg goes back, and I'm taking a moment to peek through at you. Lovely. And then this time, what comes to you as a woman standing here, not as a warrior, but as a woman, perhaps a warrioress, but as a woman. And return your mind to that moment in the meditation where I talked about reaching up and taking off of the shelf the word which may have looked like an object, and it was loaded with whatever meanings came to you. And imagine holding that word in your body with love, almost as though you are imagining holding a naughty child, and that child has had so much loaded onto it and blamed. And that child has been a little frightening to others because it was misunderstood. And hold it with love and with wisdom. And then let your arms move up and down like a pair of wings, fanning the space around you. You're breathing in as you reach your arms up and breathing out as you bring your hands down. Let's do that another time. And then slowly stepping the feet together and circle your wrists. So just make these simple movements. And I want you to imagine that you are cleansing your hands, cleansing your fingertips and your palms. The hands that do so much. We love them. We cleanse. Move your hands, your wrists the opposite way. And then imagine that you're washing your hands. And imagine that you're releasing your hands of anything that doesn't serve. It's a sense of washing away. As though you've come to the door of a beautiful temple and you're washing your hands in sacred water with the sweetest of fragrances. And then interlacing your hands And pushing your wrists forwards one by one, stretching out your wrists, opening the palms of the hands even more. And then I want you to shake your hands. Imagine shaking the index finger, and then the middle finger, the fourth finger, the little finger, and then just circle once again. And then I want you to bring your hands out in front of you. First of all, the hands are just shoulder width apart. And then I want you to slowly bring them in. And bring your wrists together. And though in many ways you are free, there are also ways in which you are restricted. And I want you to imagine lovingly the bindings of the restrictions as cloths, as gentle cloths, as fabric wrapped around your wrists. And there is no pain, but there is restriction. And these bindings are bindings that have been placed on you generations and generations ago, that you've inherited. From a time long, long ago when people started to be suspicious of others, mistrusting. And I want you to imagine now that a few of those bindings start to become unraveled. That the mistrust doesn't belong any longer. And that you are free within this space, within our group, to experience the fullness of your being, which includes the beauty of ancestry from long ago, which includes unremembered magic and mystery, which includes the ways in which you are powerful, which includes gifts and beautiful ways that you have at this moment in your life. And I want you to let your hands come slightly apart and just see that those bindings are more flexible, more free. There is space, there is play. And then I want you to gently move your wrists in tiny circles, one way and another. Just starting to feel those bindings falling apart, falling away. And then gently shaking the last remaining strands and fibers away. And feel the freedom in your wrists. Freedom in your knuckles, in your fingers. And then I want you to do some beautiful sweeping movements with your hands. So you're going to go in big circles. And imagine underneath your fingertips that your hands are brushing the surface, the skin of water. And feel your feet connected to the earth, a riverbed, the sandy bottom of an ocean, the reeds and mud of a lake. Let your feet experience the earth beneath them. Let your toes come alive. Let the beauty and the richness of the natural world permeate your body. And then slowly switch directions and move just a little bit more slowly. Moving in complete synchronicity, balance with the way that you want to move, with the energy of your body right now. The way that you, as a unique woman, need to move. Honoring yourself. And then I want you to step 1 foot forwards, 1 foot back. So my feet aren't very far apart. And I want you to imagine the moon overhead. And I want you to imagine in front of you the moonlight reflected on water. And you're going to take a net in your fingertips. And you're going to cast that net. And you're going to see it land. And you're slowly going to draw that net back to you. And you're going to cast it again, flicking in your mind's eye, seeing it land, and slowly drawing it back to you. And your feet are still connected to the earth. Your body connected to the water. Just repeating this. And your mind connected to the moon. And in the slowness of this movement, feel your energy moving and balancing. Let's do one more on this side and then we'll step the other foot forwards. Stepping your left foot forwards or your right foot forwards, the other foot forwards, and then flicking your net out across the moonlit water. In this moving meditation. Moon above you. Let's do one more time. And then coming back. And just in very gentle circles, you're going to rub your lower back. A lot of the movements that we were just doing but for the adrenals and the kidneys, as we get into the water element and some of the energetic movements. So here, just paying attention to the muscles of the low back, the kidneys, breathing gently. Every time you breathe in and out, the kidneys are moving up and down, up and down. Incredible biological massaging occurring. Every breath in and every breath out. And then you're going to brush the back of your hands from where they are on your back down your legs, like so. As though you're just moving water away and down. Water returning to the lake, the river, the earth, the oceans. And then just to complete this little movement sequence that we've been doing, I want you to bring your hands just so that they're looking at the ground. Shoulders relaxed, elbows relaxed. The palms are looking at the ground, the palms are facing the earth. And we just pause for a moment and feel how we are right now. Bend your knees just a tiny, tiny bit. Tuck your chin so that you lengthen the back of your neck. And then letting that go. And let's come back and let's gather. And let's share a little bit as we close, as we come into closing of the class. So you can unmute yourselves. And I think I would love to just hear anything that feels relevant, whether it's just a tiny description of the experience or something else to share. And then we'll close our class for today. Polly, we'd love to hear from you. We have not yet heard from you yet.
Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, good. Firstly, apologies for my late and slightly frantic appearance. Various things have gone wrong today, but no big drama. Toodle off, darling, I want to talk privately, including my daughter, and I just wanted to talk privately for a moment. Off, no, because I can't talk. Off, go on quickly. Oh, I think she may have just head-butted the door on her way through. I'll try and break it down. I just am finding the sessions utterly transformative, really, even though I came in late and didn't quite know about the basket. It's a bit crazy. I'm just so many things in my life I'm unpacking and resorting, and every session that we have, because we met on Monday, just, it's bizarre. hugely, hugely transformative. And for me, because I think I'm such an anxious person, really calming and restorative. And I love the whole theme of reconnecting with some sort of feminine power. I know it's really tricky, isn't it, at the moment, to assign power to one particular gender. I don't know. I mean, I know that's why we're here, but equally, I don't want to pin it just to being feminine. But I think it's really revisiting in my mind. So I wish I'd done this before I had kids. That's what I think. Every session that I come to, I think, oh, I wish I had had this sort of experience when I was pregnant, or, not that that's a big prize, but you know what I'm saying. Anyway, I'm rambling, but it's amazing. Thank you. And wonderful to meet new people and see Claire and see Marnie, and that's it. Sorry, not very helpful or useful.
Polly, it's always helpful, it's always useful, and we love you, and you're wonderful. And there was one tiny thing, there's many things, but it's fine to come late. Don't ever worry about that. Like I've said before, it's Zoom. It's not like you're like coming into a church hall and opening the creaking door and taking off your jacket. Zoom is the beauty of Zoom is it's quiet. And like Sarah, we've lost Sarah, but she just quietly has left. And that's okay. It's great too. And here we are, and it's a gift. Our presence, your gift is a present, is a gift. Oh, now I'm rambling.
Sorry. Okay, but thank you. And I could sort of, even in terms of what I'm reading, and tonight there's a meteor shower, and half the reason we moved from London was to be more in tune with the seasons and nature, and I feel like you're threading all of this together. And I was in a real state in May, June when we first reconnected. But I've still got that little voice inside that says, oh, don't get too comfortable. But it's weird. I feel like I'm just growing so much, even at my grand old age of 44. So thank you. I think it's all amazing.
Perfect. Okay, who's up next? I'm looking at Sherry and Marnie, who are both unmuted. Sherry, you're up next.
Okay. Well, one thing, it was interesting when we were holding up.
Mm-hmm.
Before you said, what was it? It was the world. I think that's how I always feel, especially at my work and everything is my passion is I always am holding up the world. So that was just something to ponder on. And then at the end, when we had our palms down, it was like this strong energy force between my palms and the floor.
Yeah.
Almost like pushing down, pushing up, just
Yes.
really, really powerful. So
Perfect.
it was awesome.
Perfect. And what if maybe the next time if you come back and revisit, just an invitation, what if, as well as you holding up the world, what if the world can be holding you up from beneath? What if we can have that as a two-directional relationship?
That's awesome. Try to wrap my head around that. That would be wonderful.
Yeah.
That would be freeing.
Good. There we go. Perfect. Thank you. And thank you for coming today.
I'm glad I did.
Marnie.
The other class I'm taking is facilitated by an Indigenous elder. And she talks about doing the work for her grandmothers and her granddaughters. She talks a lot about her ancestors and that the matriarchal line and what it tells her she must do in this life. And I realized how disconnected I am from my own ancestors. I grew up moving around the world, so I barely saw my grandparents. And yet I also have a sense of deep connection to the matrilineal, whatever that word is, to the women in my ancestry. So it's interesting that for me, that what you did today brought that to what I'm doing with the other class. There were a lot of intertwinglings here that are meaningful and important for me. When you talked about the gifts that were buried, I had to go write that down, because I think growing up in not in my line, but the next generation before me and the one before that, in very strong Protestant tradition, which is quite confining, and like every single other freaking tradition on the planet, very patriarchal. So it's interesting touching into the women's line.
Thank you. Michelle, would you like to add anything?
I'm forcing her to get up off the floor.
I can see that. How you can see her hair.
I'm absorbing the love of my woman tribe. Thank you. I love you all.
Mwah. We love you too, Rochelle.
Okay.
Okay. Claire.
I'm laughing at Michelle. She's so funny. She's like something out of a movie. She's like popped up behind a desk in some naughty scene. Oh, I'm so distracted now.
No, actually, I really quite like that. We could have that scene.
That is your sexual energy coming up, girlfriend. Oh, what an image. Shake it, Claire. Hello, Polly. I don't know. I've lost my flow completely. What are we talking about? Why am I here? Right, focus and concentrate. Funnily enough, when I was doing my warrior position, a Polly's peony came through. So, but it was mega. It was the most massive peony ever. So I had a lovely peony moment. It was pink and it smelled gorgeous. It was one of your perfect peonies. So that was lovely. And just it really, I did a massage yesterday, and apparently it was completely different to all my other massaging I've been doing. It's somebody I'd massage a lot, so I'm obviously, this is all moving on, which is lovely. So I'm really really grateful, and just embracing it all. I'm just excited to see where each session takes me, and it's lovely to reconnect with old faces and new faces. So thank you for the girl love. It's really good, and I'm loving throwing the witch thing around.
Your new crystal.
Me and my big crystal, which, let's not even go back there. No.
Yeah, maybe not. Okay, well, thank you. And you know, as I was teaching today, I was like, gosh, you know, what's the homework? What's the thing that we all need to be doing? And that connects now to 2 weeks, because 2 weeks feels, I know some of you I'm seeing on Monday, and some of you I will see in a couple of weeks' time when we meet again, and that feels in some ways so far away for such a very, very rich theme. And yet, in hearing each of you sharing, I am reassured, and I think this is part of my medicine, I am reassured that the pieces that we need are slowly rearranging themselves, and that is happening, and that it is happening for each of us in our lives. And that when you need the resources that I have to offer, you can message me, you can go to the site that I've created, which has interviews, and I'm about to go post a class recording in there as well. And so with great love and the honor of working with each of you, we will see one another very, very soon. And the pieces are slowly coming together and rearranging. And thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lucy.